Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
No. No. That's not true. That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Wait a minute.
What?
How'd that happen?
How did what happen?
Well, how'd I get here? Where do babies come from?
What? Are you seriously asking me to give you the sex talk?
Well, I mean, my aunt and uncle never really explained it to me. And you were never around. I mean, too busy taking over the galaxy to explain how the world works to your own son.
Oh, fine. I'll give you the sex talk. When a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, a series of biological events occurs within each person's body.
Ooh, this is getting interesting.
Well, first your body has to produce these reproductive cells called gametes. You do this through a process known as meiosis.
Meiosis? What about Eurosis?
We have so much work to do. Okay, meiosis is a process of cellular division, in which the chromosome number is cut in half by separating homologous, or paired, chromosomes. There are 6 main phases to meiosis. The first is interphase. There are 3 parts to interphase. The first part is gap 1, during which the cell grows and develops in preparation for meiosis. The second part is called S phase, during which the DNA within the cell's nucleus is synthesized and replicated. Finally, there is gap 2, when many proteins and organelles needed for meiosis, such as the centrioles right outside the nucleus, are duplicated.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
It's not nearly over. The second phase of meiosis is prophase. During prophase, the nuclear membrane and nucleolus break down, so that the DNA, in the form of chromatin, may coil around these proteins known as histones, thus forming nucleosomes, which coil further to form chromosomes. Meanwhile, the centrioles migrate to opposite poles of the cell. The centrioles release microtubules called spindle fibers. Next, the chromosomes perform a process known as crossing over. During the process, the 2 homologous chromosomes exchange portions of their chromatids, thus producing a new set of genes. These new genes remain in pairs, forming tetrads. Next comes metaphase, during which the tetrads line up along the center of the cell, remaining in pairs. Then the spindle fibers attach to these tetrads' centromeres. Following that comes anaphase, when the homologous chromosomes are pulled to opposite poles of the cell by these spindle fibers. The 5th and 6th phases of meiosis occur at the same time, telophase and cytokinesis. As the cell membrane pinches in, forming a cleavage furrow, the 2 daughter cells separate. Meanwhile, the homologous chromosomes have been separated, and the nuclear membrane and nucleolus reform. The spindle fibers break down as well. Now, each daughter cell contains 23 homologous chromosomes. These daughter cells are called haploid cells because they only contain 23 chromosomes, as opposed to 46.
Wow, is that it?
Nope. The process must occur again to properly distribute the chromosomes to other cells. However, this process is very similar. Meiosis II. Once again, the cells undergo growth and development, as they did in gap 1 of interphase. However, they skip S phase, for they do not need any more DNA. Then, during gap 2, the centrioles are duplicated. Now comes Prophase II. Once more, the nuclear membrane and nucleolus break down. The centrioles move to opposite poles, and the spindle fibers form. During Metaphase II, the chromosomes line up along the middle of the cell, and the spindle fibers attach to their centromeres. Then, during Anaphase II, the spindle fibers pull the homologous chromosomes apart. The sister chromatids have been split, pulled to opposite sides of the cell. Now, each sister chromatid exists as its own separate chromosome. During Telophase II and Cytokinesis II, as the cell membrane pinches in to form the cleavage furrow, the chromosomes uncoil back into chromatin, and the nuclear membrane and nucleolus reform. Meanwhile, the spindle fibers break down. The final result? There are now 4 haploid genetically different daughter cells, known as gametes. A male gamete is called a sperm, and a female gamete is called an ovum. In a male, the sperm develops as follows. During growth and maturation, the Spermatogium evolves into the primary spermatocyte. During Meiosis I, the primary sperm is divided into secondary sperms. During Meiosis II, each of these secondary sperms are divided into spermatids. Finally, after differentiation, the spermatids become spermatozoa. From there on, it's pretty simple. The guy's sperm plus the woman's ovum equals a baby. And well, bada bing bada boom, you got yourself a baby.
Wow, that is so freaking cool, man!
Huh, tell me about it.
You know, Dad, there's still one thing I don't get. How does the guy's sperm get to the woman's ovum?
He'll be fine.